For Official Use Only, a mini-documentary by Rodney Canete, MD. The majority of the words in this mini-doc are directly from the police report of Officer Gabriel Horton. Report of suspicious behavior of a mental health clinician. VA police responded and investigated. Clinician supervisor notified. Human Resources Department sent clinician home pending further administrative investigation. Non-criminal. Officer Horton writes, at approximately 08:56 hours, Cable and I went to building 649, B210 and spoke with Canete. I told him I would like to speak to him concerning a complaint I had received from a coworker. I told him he was not required to speak to us. I told him he was not under arrest. I asked him if he thought he was okay. He replied yes. I told him that he had concerned some of his fellow co-workers with his all-black attire. Canete told me that he is mad because his fellow employee had reported him as a possible threat. Canete told me he thought that maybe people were reporting him as a possible threat because they are racist. Canete told me he thinks all of the white clinicians had something against him because he is Filipino. I asked Canete if he had any weapons. He said no. I asked him if I could check for weapons inside his bags. He said no. Canete told me he felt scared of all the OIF, OEF, and OND veterans. He feels as they may hurt him or kill him. Canete told me he cannot sleep some nights because he worries a patient may follow him home and stab him. Canete told me he sometimes goes home and cries all night long because he is so scared of his workplace. Canete told me he spoke to Redacted about his concerns, and Redacted told him he's also concerned, and Redacted had recommended some armor. Canete pulled an approximately 12-inch by 9-inch piece of what looked like a Kevlar bullet-resistant panel from his backpack. He told me he put his armor in his backpack because he's afraid he will get caught. Yes.
What are you filming?
I have my police report. I used to be a VA psychiatrist.
Okay.
And so I'm doing a documentary on what happened to me.
Okay, you can do that, you just can't do it on property.
Okay.
So you just can't film on property because it's exposing veteran information.
Which information?
Any veteran on here, they have the privacy to be here without being filmed.
Yes.
So you can't film on federal property. It's federal law. I can pull it up for you and show it to you, but you can't film on property. You can do anything else you want, you just can't film on property.
Okay.
If you need to film on property, you got to go to the director's office and get special permission.
Okay.
Okay?
All right.
Can you turn it off?
Yeah, thank you. Canete became visibly shaken as he spoke with Cable and I. Canete told me he's afraid of the VA police because we were armed and he was afraid of firearms. Canete told me he has a very large workload of OIF, OEF, OND veterans. He says he has more OOO veterans than most other clinicians. Cable and I ended our conversation and departed. On March 3rd, 2015, at approximately 13:21 hours, per Captain Ponce, Sergeant O'Donnell and I went into Canete's office and retrieved his bags. We did not search the bags. One of the bags was open and a laptop computer was visible. At 14:08 hours, I gave the bags to Redacted. Placed the bags into Redacted. See attached statement from Redacted. Investigating Officer Gabriel Horton. This document is to be handled in accordance with the Privacy Act. Contents shall not be disclosed, discussed, or shared with individuals unless they have a direct need to know in the performance of their official duties. The documents are to be handled in accordance with FOUO procedures for official use only.
Welcome to my humble abode.
Something is wrong with this picture.
Are you trying to psychoanalyze me in my own living space?
I'm not qualified to make a mental status exam with PhDs who can afford to live in a $2 million apartment.
It's not that much, and I'm renting. My father pays for it. He couldn't stand his little girl not having adequate security in such a big city.
Daddy's little doctor girl.
They're very good sponsors. Anyways, I invited you here to do a warm handoff. It's such a challenging case. I thought we should talk before I refer him to you.
That's cool.
No, it's not. He was one of the translators for General Petraeus during the Iraq War, and prior to his PTSD taking him out of action, his evals were off the charts.
Out of action? What do you mean by that?
Every night, he pisses himself during nightmares, something to do with assassination memories. He won't reveal to me, but I thought he'd be more willing to talk to you being a male from my military sexual trauma group.
MST? MST? The drink is starting to make sense. Sort of.
What I'd like to do is to go over the condom application in more detail.
You want to go over condom application with me here now? Am I missing something?
I wasn't sure if you had any experience with it, and I wanted to make sure we coordinated before you completed your assessment and plan.
No, this would be the first time. Do you have any of these condoms around here?
I knew I could get you to ask me for a condom.
I think you've had too much experience with manipulative patients. I'm the forensic psychiatrist here, and I've done Taste My Manhattan before.
Now we're playing change the subject. Fine, my turn. Tell me where the most challenging game of I'm not taking no for an answer you ever played.
I've also learned to obey the bartender from Bali to Barcelona.
Ah, I see. You have to learn how to be and are proud to have dated an NYC bartender.
Too much pride? Look, I think we spent enough time on your patient. Why don't you pick which one of your multiple manipulations work best for the team, and I'll do it.
So, you practice Filipino martial arts. You may want to look into purchasing a firearm, unless you think that dinky little lock blade you carry in your left pant pocket is enough. It's illegal to bring knives on the campus, by the way. To answer your question, you are now an official Muslim lover.
Right. I never told you about my FMA hobby. Are you laying reading my profile so you know exactly how to talk to me? MMPI, Rorschach, process notes. This is worse than Ambassador Stevens. I just had a patient come in from the Quick Response Force.
Please note, I did not spike your drink, but you sound delusional now. I don't have clearance like that to talk to you about things like that. I see you enjoy making stories, but despite your experience with that drone pilot, it's true, they are not sending the ORF to save you. I have to go to the little girl's room.
What makes her think I don't have a gun already?
You're the real tough cookie with the long history, breaking little hearts like the one in me. That's okay, let's see how you do it. Put up your dukes, let's get down to it. Hit me with your best shot. Why don't you hit me with your best shot? Hit me with your best shot. 5 away. 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 5 all in vain. I'll get right back on my feet again. Hit me with your best shot. Why don't you hit me with your best shot? Hit me with your best shot. Fire away. Fire away. Don't you hit me with your best shot? Hit me with your best shot. Fire away. Fire away. Fire away.
You better not attack my house. I'm gonna call the police on you. Stop! I'm a medical doctor.
Okay. Alright, let's move on to the next allegation, claim 6, that reads as follows. On February 28, 2015, he learned that someone, name unknown, said he had an altered mental status. All right, first of all, doctor, how did you learn about this? Did somebody tell you, somebody call this to your attention? How did you find out that somebody had made this accusation?
Mga bata yan, mga bisita naman. Maliliit pa sila noon.
I think it was March 3rd. Yes, March 3rd, there was a police report based on searching my office. And that was when I was treated like a mass shooter. And so when I finally requested the police report that was given to me, I have it documented that one of the people interviewed had stated that I was in altered mental status, which involves a waxing and waning of consciousness. Where one is not able to speak and to be in delirium. And so I didn't know if the person, I assumed that that was a doctor who had made a clinical assessment of my mental status, or it was someone who didn't know what to do, and so, or could actually define the clinical term of altered mental status. And I had that on the police report, and that's where I learned that term was used.
Yeah, so that's Tita ba? Tita Canete. I said Lolo, that's Lolo. And that's Rodney. Rodney.
I am not here to make your life miserable. I'm here to gather facts about your complaint. Okay?
Thank you.
Sure. All right, Megan, could we please go on the record?
Yes, sir.
Dr. Canete, do you swear or affirm under penalty of perjury that the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Please note that today's testimony is being obtained without a pledge of confidentiality, and it will be shared with individuals within the agency that have a need to know. Do you understand this, Doctor?
I do.
It should also be noted, to the extent that we use the names of employees or other individuals that are not directly involved in a complaint, I may redact their names and substitute an identifier before making a transcript part of the file. This is just to protect the privacy of individuals not directly involved in a complaint. Do you understand this, Doctor?
I do.
Could you please state your name and spell it for the record?
Rodney Canete. Microbiology. There's a lot of fucking tests. Questions. Million fucking questions. I did a million fucking questions. I did a million fucking questions for you. Oh, big. Alright. This is a drill. This is just a drill. I would do anything for my family. That was not my fault.